Hello there. Thank you for clicking into this video, which has now brought you into the Two Sister Bees hive. I assume you're here to hear about my budget this month, and I will get straight to that. But first, if you're new here, welcome. My name is April. I'm the little sister bee. I'm a lower budgeter on a monthly fixed income. I use the zero-based budget, which means that I assign every penny a job and I start from zero every month. We are a family of 3 with 2 kitties. The other half of Two Sister Bees is Jen, who is a weekly budgeter and on a higher income. Together, we share our very different financial households, and we do cash stuffings, budgeting, savings challenges, and I'm going to start meal planning videos very shortly. We're always brainstorming up new stuff, so if you like these kinds of things, get comfy and let's get to it, because I have a doozy of a story for you once we get to my internet and phone debacle. All right, this is July 2022. This year is just flying by for me. This is my new July income and expenses budget sheet. I like to try and keep my budget as simplistic as possible so that I stick with this. And this sheet has worked great for me. Let's start with the month and year up here. All right, and then come over here to income. Our monthly income is $22.87. And my husband's hustle has brought an extra $400 this month. So now let's put our total up here. And that's $26.87. Moving on to essentials, which is groceries. As I mentioned, I'm starting a new meal plan video. I am terrible at meal planning. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I want to learn. So you guys can learn with me if you'd like, and maybe we can share some tips and tricks together. All right, next is gas. I don't go out very often, so that's been working okay for me. And then finally, my carry cash, which I give 10. And this is really just in case I go over with groceries or gas, or my kid wants a Happy Meal or something. And that's it for those, and I can see that the total is 500. Living expenses. All of my living expenses are on auto pay, and I can't wait to tell you about the internet phone drama, but let's start with my mortgage, which is $330 every 2 weeks. So I have 2 payments this month, $660. My car is $259. I have a story for you. Our phones and internet. I've had our phones on Tmobile and our internet through Charter, and we've been with both companies several years. T-Mobile came out with their 5G thing, which was $50 a month, $25 cheaper than what we were paying for Charter. So we signed up for it. Set up the whole house, new Wi-Fi, which by the way is extremely annoying. The internet wasn't bad, but it was cutting out a few times, but I was okay with that until I got my bill. My bill was $135 for years. Now, $50 should make that $185, yeah? No. I get my bill $225, and by the way, that first month was supposed to be free. Now it gets a little bit deeper here. And the only reason I'm telling you this story is that I can hope that this financial lesson can be something that all of us can learn from. So, rewind a minute to May, when we got the 5G tower from T-Mobile. The reason we were in T-Mobile in the first place was that I purchased my child a new phone. I paid $344 outright for it on my credit card. So put a pin in that while I tell you the rest of this. Because of that $225 bill, I just decided I'll call Charter and switch it back. I wanted the internet turned on before going to T-Mobile to turn it off. So while on the phone, they've got some good deals. And I get my husband cable again, which he's extremely excited about. And we even decide, all right, you know what, let's just move our cell phones over to Charter too. I figure one bill, all Charter, no more T-Mobile. Sounds easy, right? Let's fast forward to now, which is a month later from the day that I got the T-Mobile tower. Bill is $40 more than it should be. That free month was just a fantasy, and I'm pretty annoyed. I take the tower back to T-Mobile. I figure I'll just have them fix everything at once. I go into the store. Everyone that works in there is super nice, by the way, and I have no issue with T-Mobile. I actually really liked them, but once things aren't what you say, I'm done. So we take in the tower. My first plan of action was to return the tower. Can't take it back. Have to call customer service and get a return label. All right, that's annoying, but not a big deal, and definitely not the little sales girl's problem. So the next issue is the phones. I knew that I had $128 left on the buy one, get one promotion that they do. So that was my husband's phone and my phone. I say, all right, this is the next issue. I want to pay off this BOGO plan. And she says, that'll be 200 and something. And I said, wait. It should be 128. And I show her the BOGO thing in my app. She said, yeah, that's correct. but you owe on this other phone. Yeah, remember that PIN that we put? She was showing me that somehow, with the BOGO plan, it was showing on my child's new phone that I paid outright for, that for some reason it also had $128 on it. So I pull up to where I paid for her phone outright and I show the girl. And probably 30 minutes of her going back in the, back and forth in the front and the back and getting on the phone. And for whatever reason, she figures out that they put that 128 on that phone as well. Why? I don't know. But they actually charged me a payment on it, which was that extra $40. Which meant if I didn't take all this in there, they would have kept charging me $128 on that phone that I already paid full price for. It actually gets a little worse. That same new phone cannot be moved to Charter. I think it's because it's outdated. I don't know. But at this point, I have 3 phones now, 2 on Charter and 1 stuck on T-Mobile. I wait a little bit, give myself some time to reset. I call T-Mobile to see what the price change was with just 1 line now. And after I picked myself off the floor from him telling me it would be $80, and by the way, once again, he said, you can't move that phone anyhow because you owe money on it. I had to go back through the whole spill again and have him pull up the receipt where I not only paid for that phone outright, but that 128 supposedly owed on all of that. His theory was that the 128 that we just paid again was stuck on the free phone and not the one that had the balance. Anyway, he sets it up for $45 a month for her for 90 days so I could figure out what I'm doing from that point. But I gotta say, I don't have a lot of faith in that amount and that it'll be correct. So I want to just move that final line over to Charter with the rest of this and close that T-Mobile circus. It was an extremely frustrating and confusing experience, but I do thank the salespeople at T-Mobile for being very nice and trying to do what they can to help me through it. I decided that since I can't move that third phone over because it's an outdated model or whatever, even though I just paid for it, I'm going to trade it into Charter and get a new phone for myself, which, I'm not really thrilled about because I don't really want it. But I guess the silver lining is that I'll have a better camera for filming videos. So that is on my to-do list as soon as I finish this video. So if you're still with me, I really don't know what I'm going to owe when the dust settles for the next 30 days. I know that Charter and the internet is $123, so let's add that. And the phone debacle, gonna be a little convoluted, but I'm gonna go ahead and put $150 on it, and hopefully that will cover it all. Still insanely frustrating. I do feel ripped off, but it is what it is, as my dad always said. All right, adding up our living expenses. And we're at $13.96. Moving on to our credit and debt. We currently have 3 credit cards. So we have Amazon, and I owe $85 this month. My balance on Amazon is $13.50, and as soon as that is paid off, that card is getting closed. Discover, the balance just keeps bouncing around. Most of this is my child's dentist appointments. The last one ended with everyone deciding that the best way to fix what's left is for her to have anesthesia, maybe have a little bit of a sleep while they fix it. It's just too far back in her mouth and too stressful for her to do that awake, so I'm assuming that's going to be pricey, but I don't care. Her comfort is my priority. So this will all get paid off, and once we'll get there, and this card will be solely used for business expenses. But for right now, I think the balance is about $4,000, and I'm going to pay $80 on it. And then finally is Capital One, and that's another $85 a month. And the balance on that one is $3,400. And this is my husband's business card mostly. Some other things have snuck on there this year, but we'll get there. We're good. And let's add these 3 up. And that's $250 total. All right, so this is where I figure out how much cash to take from the bank. So we take that total income, $26.87, and I deduct our living expenses of $13.96 because all of this is on auto pay and I don't want my account to implode by pulling out more than I should. And then the credit cards, which are also on auto pay, leaves us with pulling $1041 from the bank. From this $1041, I will deduct my essentials, which was $500, and I'm left moving forward with $541 for cash envelopes and savings and stuff. So the first and most important one is my insurance. which is $144. I have a 6-month premium. Then we've got the cats, and they get $30. We have a stray that has popped up that we've been feeding. He eats and meows at the same time like the Cookie Monster. It's absolutely adorable. So there's $30. Vehicles for oil changes and whatnot, we're going to give them $25. And household, this is for toiletries and cleaning supplies, stuff that isn't food, we're going to give that $50. And I was thinking about starting a checklist restock video type thing. You know, nothing major, long, drawn out or anything, but I usually like quick videos. The only reason this one's long is because I rabbled on about T-Mobile, but yeah, I actually think that that'll help me and maybe you too. So that's in the thought process. Then we've got thrifting, and I added this back into budgeting because I figured out that every Wednesday, my Goodwill starts their $1 clothing deals, and they have these 2 long racks that are the width of the store with $1 clothing, and it's everything from baby clothes, women's, children's, men's, whatever. And I have been finding some really nice buys. So I'm gonna give this $20 a month for a little bit. And you know, I also really enjoy it that my kid joins me and we walk and talk and look at clothes, and there's no worrying about price tags. So that is a very fun thing that we do. And then last is Miku. If you're new here, my child and I are heavy anime watchers, manga readers, and toy collectors. So this fun is mostly for the pre-order figures that my child collects. We've got a big order that's been on pre-order for a while. So we got one of our orders recently. It was a pretty decent one. It cleared out the envelope. So now we're back to 0 in that. So I'm gonna go ahead and put 52. And that will leave me with 220. And what do I do with this 220? I play savings challenges with it. And when completed, all of my savings challenges get put onto the credit card debt. It's just a fun way to cycle through it without just putting it directly on a card. Which now brings me to figuring out which denominations to grab from the bank. So that is that 1041 noted here. And I'm just gonna go ahead and put it all here. So 100, and I'll rewrite this for the bank teller when I get a moment. All right, so looking at these groceries and these savings challenge envelopes, let's do 5 100s for 500. Let's do 4 50s for 200. Let's do 12 20s for 240. 6 10s for 60. I'm gonna need a couple of ones. So let's do 6 5s for 30 and 11 ones. And let me go ahead and double check all of my math here real quick. All right, there we go. July budget created. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. Don't forget that I've got that meal plan video in the works, and I will also have those savings challenge companion cards soon. While you seethe with excitement for those, why not watch another video or two? Take care and see you guys soon. Bye.